Tattoo artists of Reddit, who and what have you refused to do? I had a lady walk in about a year and a half ago and request that I tattoo a tramp stamp stating parking here $40 with an arrow pointing towards her anus. That's fine, I've done worse. So I told her the price and she was like, there's one more thing I want and it's kinda weird. So I'm like, alright, what's up? Bracing myself for the worst. She tells me she wants a star on her anus. Now even that wouldn't have been an issue except for the fact that she didn't just want your standard closed star around the anus. No, she wanted the fucking Star of David. For those who don't know, the Star of David is formed by two interlocking triangles. I explained to her that I can't do that because the risk of an infection of considerable caliber was too high. She then offered me a BJ on top of the cost for the tattoo. I again refused. She then offered anal sex once I was done with the tattoo. I told her to get out of my shop. She returned a few weeks later and knocked on the window. I look up and there she is, shirt lifted halfway up her back, revealing a brand new parking here $40 tattoo, complete with the arrow. To this day I still wonder if some crazy bastard actually tattooed the Star of David on this poor woman's anus. A lot of people get drunk beforehand because they think it will ease the pain. Not only it will bleed more, but the tattoo artist won't trust that you'll not regret that tattoo in the morning. I turned drunk people away several times. Plus people wanting to tattoo their so's names. Nope, won't do it. I won't tattoo someone unless they can tell me themselves what they want. A lot of people's friends / parents / partners do all the talking and tell me what the other person wants. If you want a tattoo, you gotta put on your big kid pants and tell me what you want. The guy I go to won't do certain things. He won't go above the collarbone or past the wrists onto your hands unless you have a significant amount of visible tattoos or he knows you really well, shop regular or something. He won't do anything on feet at all because people don't take care of them. Then they show it to someone and they're like, that looks like shit. Who did that to you? He's got a reputation to protect. He is also very wary about doing anything where a bra strap would rub it while it's healing. My wife is a tattoo artist. She normally won't refuse any paying client. If you make a deposit, cancel 3 times, bring 4 friends, your toddlers, and share way too much personal information about yourself, she may be booked pretty solid when you try and get a bouquet of roses on your foot with 23 bads in the background, 1 for each of your extended family member. And if you try and tip her in weed, thanks, but we can't pay a mortgage with your mids. But she'll keep you in mind if there's a cancellation. Couple times that stick out. Refused to tattoo a young guy's entire face blue. I was actually the counter person at the time, not the tattooer, but I spoke with the client. He was maybe early mid-20s and thought his parents would like him better that color. Several weeks later we got a thank you letter from him. I refuse to do any Nazi, gang, white pride, etc. tattoos. I will refuse someone if they make me uncomfortable. I will refuse to tattoo someone if they can't give back enthusiastic consent, basically meaning I'm not gonna let someone's husband tell me the tattoo their wife is getting while she hangs back and doesn't say a word. Got a funny story actually. I once tattooed a Queen of Hearts symbol on this girl. It was just a red Q written with classic card font and a crown with a heart in it. 2 weeks later she came back and had a black eye. I was new to the area, so I wasn't aware of gang symbols as much, but I realized it was a Latin king / queen symbol, a famous Chicago gang. I covered it up with a slightly bigger design for free. Refused any card symbols afterwards. Not a tattoo artist, but I was getting a 7-hour session done on me, and my artist were about 4 hours in, and these drunk girls came in and were demanding that he stop tattooing me so one of their friends could get a tattoo on a dare. They dared her to get a Hitler mustache tattooed on her upper lip. They kept yelling at my artist to do it and were telling me to go home because I was done. I wasn't done. He told them to come back in a few minutes and they left, and he locked the front door so they couldn't come back inside. Lol. Not an artist, but I've been denied a tattoo before. My friend was getting her foot tattooed and there was another artist at the shop who was free. I asked him how much to get #YOLO tattooed on my butt cheek and he flat out denied me, telling me he didn't want to give me a tattoo I would regret 5 days later. I really appreciated the guy's integrity, so I sat back down. 5 minutes later I asked for a smiley face on my chest and he did it. I once refused to tattoo a girl and her father complained to me by yelling at me from about 2 feet away. She was 14, legal age where I live is 18, and she wanted her boyfriend's name above her eye. She was willing to compromise to her hand though. No. I won't do name/portraits of SOS, anything on the dick/balls/vagina, or face tattoos. Too much regret in those types of tattoos. I won't really turn anything down, except one guy who wanted to get a tattoo of someone pissing on Barron Trump. He wanted a portrait of Barron with that bumper sticker of the kid pissing. He's usually peeing on a sport logo. Definitely said fuck that to that one. Edit, didn't say no, because he's Trump's kid. I said no, because he is a child. IDC who the daddy is. The sins of the father doesn't dictate the life of the son. 2nd edit. I didn't spell Trump's kid's name right. 3rd edit. Trump's kid's name is really hard apparently. /s. Not a tattoo artist, but I once met a guy who had his receding hairline filled in with tattoo ink. Like, with stippling to look like a buzz cut to make it look like he didn't have a receding hairline. He kept his actual hair cropped really short to try to make it blend in. It didn't work. That's the only time I've ever seen that, but wow, was that a terrible idea. It's been said in this thread already, but hands unless you already have a significant amount of tattoos. I was getting a tattoo by a buddy of mine who was the newest guy in the shop he was working at. This meant he would get a lot of the quick 1 to 2 hour walk-in tattoos. Some younger girl came in wanting something on her hands. He told her what the size tattoo would cost, but said he doesn't do hands. He said he'd do it elsewhere but not on her hands. I asked him about it after she had left, and his exact words were, "You gotta earn that shit." He also told me he doesn't like doing feet either, since it's tough for them to look nice, regardless of how great the artist is. Definitely made me realize that at the end of the day tattoo artists have their reputation to protect. My aunt is a tattoo artist and owns her shop. She had a trans woman come in and ask if they would tattoo a beauty mark on her face and how much. My aunt said, "Well, I'm busy the rest of the day, but I'll ask my other artists. It will just be the $50 minimum." The woman walked out at the sound of $50, but we didn't know she wasn't coming back. Every artist said, "No way am I tatting someone's face. I don't fuck with faces." My aunt was willing, but was doing my work the rest of the day. The lady never came back. Not an artist, but I have been denied a tattoo. I'm a huge fan of a show called Futurama, and for months I have been wanting to tattoo the face of a character, Bender, on my butt. It's a reference, but it's a stupid idea, so I was very reluctant. Until one night I got super drunk, and I was demanding to get the tattoo. We walked to the closest tattoo shop, shadiest place I have seen, and asked for it. The most chill and cool girl appeared. We talked about it, and she was cool with it somehow even though I was clearly drunk. Fortunately her boyfriend was also there, and he wasn't okay with her touching another guy's ass, so she had to deny it. My shop absolutely refused to do anything of a racist or hateful nature. This pissed off a lot of rednecks when they were denied their Confederate flags. I always just thought it was better to have a few people hate you for refusing their request than to be the shop that doesn't give a shit. Color realism portraits on very dark skin tones. Props if you know how to do it and it heals well, but I just can't. More than happy for it to be black and grey, but I've yet to see really well healed color realism on dark skin tones, and I don't want anyone walking around with a cocked up tattoo. I admire anyone, be it an artist, a doctor or a builder, who has the pride to say I don't have the skill for this project, instead of trying and messing up. People don't seem to understand the reasoning. Sometimes I have been called quite a bit for it over the years, but in all honesty I literally just want rad tattoos to exist, not shitty ones. I don't care who they are on, except Nazis. Fuck those guys. I had a client shit himself once as we were about to start, in short shorts, on my bed, in summer, without ack. Luckily we wrapped the Jesus out of our beds, but the cleanup was not fun. He was somehow unhappy that I wasn't going to crack on with his tattoo. Whoa, what the actually hell? Like, this dude just straight up without warning shat himself, just as the tattooing was about to start. What the fuck kind of tattoo was he getting? Did he come back later to finally get the tattoo? So many questions. He was sat, stenciled, requested the legs were at around 45° angle. I picked up my machine and decided to let his ass candy / soup drizzle everything. He was getting tribal on his arm. We didn't even get halfway through, not even one lichen, and he came back to rebook the next session, but he didn't show up for it. If you're reading this, Mr. Point Pooper, I edit, yep, straight up shitted himself right there. No warning. No signs, just gravy soup all over my bed and floor and nearly my shoes.